The world of work is changing. But why is it changing? How is it changing? And what should you and your organization do about it? Hi, my name is Jacob Morgan. I'm a best-selling author, speaker, and futurist, and on this show, I'm going to help answer all of these questions. Join me as I go inside some of the world's most forward-thinking companies to tour their offices and interview their executives and employees. Welcome to the future of work. We're outside the offices of Mulesoft, an app integration company. We're going to go inside and speak with some of their employees and their executives to find out exactly what an app integration company is and what they think about the future of work. Let's go inside.
Hi, so I'm Greg Schott, I'm the CEO of Mulesoft, and let's just take you around the office.
Yeah, let's
give you a little tour. So let's see. So this is our reception area, and those are surfboards from a meetup we had where the whole company went to Santa Cruz. This is kind of an interesting one. We found this light fixture in a bank and kind of fell in love with it. We thought it was the coolest thing, and we found it was an Italian light fixture. It was $6,000. We didn't have $6,000 to spend on a light fixture, so we found a submarine company that makes like little submersibles that made these plastic domes, and we bought it and painted it with the Mule Blue. So that was our, we did a lot of those interesting things when we were kind of building the office out. Nice. This is our main conference room. This is our Mule logo, and you can see from the logo we actually incorporated kind of a superhero look in our logo. And look at that, nicely done. We also have our mule ears in the logo, which a lot of people actually don't see at first. So that's kind of the front here. This is our kitchen. We're setting up for lunch today, as you can see here. So we bring in Zesty. They do an amazing job, and this is our face wall of a lot of our folks. So a lot of our folks are up there, and we also keep clocks just up top, just to kind of remember all the different offices and what time it is, just for kind of fun to think about where all of our colleagues are working.
I like that. You got donuts, bagels.
The whole thing. We keep a pretty big selection of different snacks. It's pretty standard. So this is our workspace. We all sit on benches. So we don't have any offices in the company. We all sit out here together. Actually, these benches, I saw something similar to this over at Square, and kind of fell in love with the idea of having these flat benches, but then with a platform above them where you can put your monitor and put things underneath. So actually, the cabinet maker who did the cabinets at my house is the guy who's put these whole things together. So all of these, we designed these ourselves. These are all custom-made desks. This is our main conference room. We actually found that table. It's a 1,200-pound teak table. We found it on eBay, and we found out that it was going to cost twice as much money to bring it into the building via a crane than actually the table cost itself. So we had to do some special cutting on the table to make it fit. So these are some of the little conference rooms they have. We have like little phone booths. Make her self-conscious, so she's on a phone call there. That's one of our recruiters out recruiting another great muley. This is our all-hands area. So back here is where we can sit about 200 people here for our all-hands meetings that we run on. We use video conferencing to tie in all the other offices. We have meetups here, we have parties here. It's one of our big common spaces. This is where the IT team is. This is where the cool kids hang out.
Please don't film this.
The founder of the company, Ross Mason, is a Brit, and in the UK they call integration donkey work. And so when he was naming the original product, he was kind of thinking about donkeys, and I guess he didn't want to name it Donkeysoft, so we ended up with Mulesoft. But it's stuck, and it's something you never forget. So it works. It works. We actually have the mule ears kind of in there, in a lot of different places in the company. You'll see it. These every room, conference room area is kind of grouped around where our locations are. So these are names that are related to Argentina. We have a big office in Argentina. Downstairs on the second floor we'll have conference rooms that are named after the UK and Sydney, and so we try and kind of keep it close to all the different main offices that we have.
Yeah, and the office also has a nice flow. It's a nice circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it moves around pretty well. And then the women's bathroom there has the pink mule head on it. So this is the second floor. We have a lot of engineering and the marketing team down here on the second floor. It's one of our big conference rooms, and our engineering team is down here. We try to have a lot of different soft seating areas around, because with these benches, people just want to kind of go and do work with their headphones on, just kind of get away a little bit sometimes. So we do things like this where people can just, you know, code or do whatever they want in a corner and sit in some soft seating. We do a lot of that throughout the company. Yeah, so these are a lot of our small conference rooms for people to have phone calls and private meetings.
Very cool. Well, let's go sit down and have a one-on-one chat.
All right, let's do it.
So who are you and what do you do at Mulesoft?
So I'm Greg Shutt, I'm the CEO.
Have you seen the workplace evolve at all?
There's just a different mentality about what it means to contribute, and kind of the concept of hierarchies has really kind of disappeared. And so if you think about, there's some companies where the more senior you get, the bigger the cubicle becomes, and then the higher the walls on your cubicle become, and then at some point you have cubicle walls that go all the way up. I don't necessarily consider that to be a feature. That's more of a bug. And I think what's happening is, just the way people are thinking about it now, is you have to have some hierarchy, there's no question, because there has to be decision making, and if you don't have hierarchy, you kind of have anarchy. So
have you seen changes as far as the hiring process goes and how people are brought into the company? How do you think about the employees that you bring into Mulesoft, and has that changed over the last 10, 15 years at all for you?
Yeah, for me, I'm not a fan of the concept of, hey, it's just this fungible set of resources out there that everybody uses and they just kind of flow through the company at different points in time. I don't ascribe to that. I think we have used freelancers, we have used Odesk, we have, you know, we've done those types of things, and I think it's wonderful for certain projects. But the core of a company, the kind of the culture of a company and the spirit of a company gets embedded in people that are here. They're on the same team. You want them to feel like, you want us all to feel like we're on the same team, and we're all together, and we're all winning and losing together, and we have long-term relationships with each other and with the company, and you know, that to me is what breeds success. And mercenary kind of just come flow in and I just do a job and then I'm out and I'm on to the next place. I mean, that may work for certain aspects of work, but I wouldn't want the core of the company to be feeling that way.
Yeah. What if you were to look out 5, 10 years, do you think the workplace will be that different than it is today? And if so, how do you think it'll be different?
I think we're learning with technology, with work habits, with everything we can do now with email and text and everything else. We've all learned how we can run in these little groups, these little autonomous groups. I think what we're going to see more and more is groups becoming more and more autonomous, and kind of these companies almost becoming kind of these groups of organisms, kind of almost if you think about kind of, you know, the way it works with bees and ants and things like that, where they can kind of figure it out as they go, as opposed to before it was much more of kind of this top-down, you know, Soviet era 5-year plans. Here's what we're going to go do.
My family's from Russia, so I know exactly what you're talking about. What do you think about this concept of work-life balance and work-life integration? Is there such a thing as work-life balance anymore?
Well, I think most everybody would say that they have a life outside of work. I'm never a big fan of the words work-life balance, because that assumes that work isn't life, and there's nothing good that happens at work. I think most people, most of their waking hours, typically, you know, even a 40-hour work week, most of your waking hours are in the workplace. So you'd like to think that that's actually a good life. So to me, I think of it as a balance between your work life and your out of work life. Those two things are critically important. You can't have a good work life if you don't have any out of work life. So you need to have, you certainly need to have balance between the two of them.
Sure.
And it depends very much on the company and the speed at which the company is growing. I mean, in our case, we're growing. We're doubling every year. We're doing it at scale. We have very complex technology, very demanding customers. It tends to be a very intense work environment,
Sure.
very fast-paced, and and other companies that are at a different stage of maturity, you know, the amount of time people spend at work might be different.
If you were to give advice to a executive or manager that is looking to do something similar to what you guys have done here, what would you tell them to do?
You know, I think good leadership is setting people up for success. Like, that's the ultimate.
Not delegating and command and control.
It's giving people as much autonomy as they can possibly handle, and I think that's good leadership. I think good leadership is never asking somebody to do something that you wouldn't do.
What advice would you give to employees that are looking to stay relevant and competitive in this rapidly changing workforce?
So the only skill that really matters is the ability to learn and change. The skills themselves, the specific skills that somebody has around learning a specific product or technology, those things, it's amazing. Like the clock speed and how fast the half-life of any knowledge and technology is that go into zero. So so the ability to change, the ability to adapt. When someone says, "I don't want to try something new," or you know, that is you're limiting your career.
My name is Pham. I'm the global manager for the account development function.
Wow! And how long have you been at the company?
2.5 years now.
Have you seen any changes in the workplace over the course of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest ones is a real shift to management by inspiration, and I think especially here at Mulesoft, being attached to the overall company's goals, mission, and vision via management by transparency has also been really big here as well. So there's a huge dichotomy between working at some place like HP, where you can often feel disconnected, as opposed to really leading by inspiration. And I think that especially as we've been managing and taking a lot of millennials into our organization, that's also changed fundamentally.
Interesting. So what do you think about millennials in the workplace?
I think they're great. No, but I do think they present a different managerial challenge than in years past, right? I think the feedback cycles and the expectation on feedback has gotten shorter and shorter, and the level of detail and value that you're providing to your employees actually has to increase over time. So I think that really does fundamentally change the way that companies should be looking at managing their employees and managing them as assets. Yeah.
What do you look for in a company?
I think the number one thing to value at a company is the people at the company, right? If they're going to challenge you every single day, term we use around here is A players, right? Are those A players that you're really working with? Because that gives you the growth, that really pushes you forward in your career. And so, what I can say about Mulesoft is that, I look forward to coming into work every day because of the people that not only I get to work with and work for, but also the people that work for me. Sometimes the most inspirational people are the people who work for me, who are putting in those 12-hour work days, who are going above and beyond the call of duty to get things done, and that's pretty inspirational. So the number one thing that I look for is the caliber of the people that compose the team.
My name is Federico Boneggi. I'm a senior engineering manager in Mulesoft.
Where's your accent from?
I'm from Argentina.
Ah, I haven't been to Argentina yet. One day I'll go.
You will go.
How do you like working in an open office?
I like it a lot. I think, you can see what is going around, gives you the sense of, it's not just me in my little cell, it's, all the company is moving forward, there is a lot of dynamics. I really enjoy that.
Where do you see the workplace going in 5-10 more years? What changes do you think will happen?
I think this is going to get better, if I can be selfish. I think, IT is not going to lower the exigence of people and resources and people working on different things. So as the need keeps growing, we are going to be more needed.
So you think technology and IT is going to be even more important in the future?
Yes, I think, but it's going to be geometrical increase, not even exponential increase, And I think people, I think in general the offices are going to evolve to improve collaboration. we are starting to understand that as this is a part creative process, you are dealing not just with resources, but with human beings, you know. And you need to understand that as every human being, people have good days, bad days. You know, they have their dreams, their hopes, their career desires. So my take on that as a manager is, as you know, part of my work is to keep my team as healthy and happy as possible.
Sure.
Happy people produce better products.
It reminds me of that commercial, happy cows make better cheese. You remember that? It's on TV? So happy employees do better work. I like that.
You're saying they are like cows?
No, I would never say, we're going to edit this part out. So it sounds like before, was management not like that? Was it very different before?
It was a bit more rigid, I think. Yes, and also, you know what, the evolution of software development moved to a very waterfall model, to a more agile model.
If you had to think of one word or one phrase or sentence that summarizes the future of work, what would it be?
Growth.
Growth?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. What advice would you give to other managers or executives at companies that want to make a better place for employees to work?
I think you need to think from the shoes of the rest of your teams. You know, you sometimes when you are in the management chain, it's really hard to, you know, you usually are biased to look from your point of view. So I like to spend time like thinking, you know, if I make this decision, how will this affect the rest of the people?
Sure.
So I think it's important to understand that. That creates a better environment and a better culture.
My name is Jennifer, and I'm the senior payroll administrator. So I get everyone paid.
So you're the person I should become friends with if I worked at Mulesoft.
Definitely.
Add like some extra zeros to the paycheck or something like that. Yeah. Have you seen any changes in the workplace during the course of your career?
So, I mean, I've seen a little bit of change, but I feel like maybe the tech industry is a lot more open to change than something that's more corporate.
How do you like the open office environment versus a cubicle where you might maybe get more privacy or space to yourself?
The desks here are actually pretty wide, so I get plenty of space, and then I have a privacy screen. So,
what's a privacy screen? Just so people can't see your computer?
Yeah, it's over the monitor, so unless you're sitting right in front of the monitor, you can't see it.
So if you're on Facebook or something, nobody can like see that you're...
Right. So I don't think that it has any sort of negative impact.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been a couple of times where maybe I'm trying to work on something and it's Friday, so people are starting to get a little more relaxed. But we have so many offices that you can book, and you can just go sit in a room if you need quiet time. And everybody's pretty cool. You know, if you say, hey, I'm on the phone, I'm talking to somebody, everybody will quiet down. But I feel like it allows you to meet people that you wouldn't necessarily talk to.
Sure.
Because maybe they work in a different component of the company. And it just, you don't feel like you're trapped. So when I worked in a cubicle, I felt like a dolphin at SeaWorld, and my fin was all bent down.
I wish I knew how to make the dolphin noise. I can't.
Right. So I feel like it gives you a more sense of a freedom, you know?
Sure.
So you're not chained to your desk.
Oh, interesting. What about around management style? Have you noticed a different way that managers or supervisors want work to get done?
I feel, in my situation, I feel like my supervisor treats me more of like a partner in getting the work done. And
that's nice. Yeah, that's a good feeling.
I'm not so micromanaged. I feel like she allows me to make decisions and also encourages me to learn other things. Whereas, you know, in the past I've been kind of pigeonholed into one particular job. And
that's not fun.
Right.
What do you care most about in a company? What do you value the most?
So for me, I'd say it's company culture.
More than money?
Yeah. When I took this position, I'm making a little bit more than I was, but now I'm commuting an hour each way, you know, 45 minutes an hour each way. And this job is a little more stressful than my last payroll position because there were less employees at the other place, but I don't mind coming into work. I enjoy working here. So even though maybe I have more stress or more on me, since the company's designed the way it is, the openness, you know, they provide us snacks, and you don't feel like you're under somebody's thumb all the time, I'm happy to come to work.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of something rare for me.
Yeah. No, but I think it's rare for most people, right? I mean, most people do not want to go into work. So I just spent 2 hours on site at the Mulesoft offices here in beautiful downtown San Francisco. Spoke with their CEO, Greg Schott, interviewed some of their employees, did a tour of their offices, and really got a good understanding of what they think about the future of work. And I gotta say, I'm really glad they named their company Mulesoft and not Donkeysoft. Can you imagine Donkeysoft? Thanks for watching the Future of Work show. To sponsor an episode or to have your company featured in the show, email me, jacob@thefutureorganization.com. I'll see you in the future.